Following Minister Shanmugam's call for all political parties to reject identity politics in Singapore, with leader of the opposition Pritam Singh accepting that the Workers' Party should have been, quote, clearer and more unequivocal in its response to Noor Deros' claims during the general election. But the WP chief disagreed with Home Affairs Minister K. Shanmugam that his party had been slow to respond, kicking off clarifications which lasted over an hour.
I don't agree with the minister that we took too long. I understand minister has an issue about the context of what was said. It could have been clearer, more unequivocal. And minister concedes that on the 26th of April, that same day the press release of the Workers' Party was released that morning. In the evening, there is a rally. And at Tampines, I make what I think the minister says are clearer remarks and statements about race and religion.
So the lack of clear response, a vague response, must have been a deliberate choice based on a calculation of interest. I'm just taking it point by point, a series of logical conclusions, that there is some benefit in keeping it less clear and that Deros can swing some votes. Now, that sort of calculation may bring some short-term benefits. And whatever I say about Deros also goes for pass. But it does, as I said, long-term damage to our country.
By raising the matter, are you actually in the heat of an election, bringing the issue to greater focus? So, by dealing with it on the 23rd or 24th, points made by a certain Noor Deros who really no one knows, I certainly didn't know of him. But what I would say is that we had made our views quite clear on foreign interference. I understand the minister says that when the statement on Noor Deros could have been clearer. I accept that.
The WP chief also agreed with Mr Shanmugam's point on rejecting individuals who use identity politics to win votes, but stressed that the government could have reached out to seek clarifications.
And my point is, if it is serious enough, in the minister's words, for the Prime Minister to take a measure such as stopping campaigning halfway to clarify a point, I don't think it's too difficult to reach out in the national interest to get that clarification also from all political parties as one Singapore. I hope the minister can consider this in future.
Now, if you want the government to tell you what to do and what not to do in the middle of the elections, the government is also mindful of being seen to interfere with individual political parties. So we need to be mindful of that, because it can be politicized. Maybe Mr. Singh is welcoming of a phone call to say this is not on, but I can imagine a number of other political parties might say, you are trying to threaten me in the middle of a general election. So we need to be very careful.
Other MPs also raised concerns, such as whether Mr Shanmugam's ministerial statement suggested that the Malay Muslim community should bear some responsibility for potentially allowing identity politics to seep into Singapore.
Is the Honourable Minister suggesting that, or would he not agree with me that it is in fact part of a broader issue or trend that political actors both here and abroad are taking advantage of our racial or religious sensitivities for their own gain? And if so, it can happen to any communities, any race, any religion, or groups like New Citizens.
I wasn't singling out any particular community. Our Malay Muslim community during this GE was a victim of these tactics. They didn't ask for these provocations, nor did they support these tactics. They share the same strong commitment as any other community to Singapore's multiracial, multireligious approach. The Malay Muslim community has stayed calm in spite of the deliberate attempts to rile up racial and religious sentiments.
I also like to ask the Minister to clarify if he is also saying that it would be wrong for any political party to appeal to voters based on what the party can offer to any specific community.
There is nothing wrong with advocating ways to advance a particular community or discussing legitimate community concerns. But when we advocate for the concerns of the Malay Muslim community or any other community, we must ensure that our advocacy is conducted responsibly in a manner that upholds Singapore's unity. So just as the government's policies benefit the Malay Muslim community, they must also benefit all other Singaporeans.
Non-constituency MP Andre Loh highlighted a recent survey on racial and religious harmony in Singapore, which found a significant gap between how younger and older Singaporeans perceived such ties. The WP member asked if the government could consider recalibrating its approach to racial and religious harmony in Singapore.
Maybe it's perhaps not working for certain demographics, such as our younger Singaporeans, who may feel that safe spaces can be more open. Because if you're constantly wary of tripping over whether it's actual legislation or perhaps unseen OB markers, perhaps these conversations might not be had in the most open and respectful manner.
When you allow such free-flowing expressions without any kind of legal framework, what's going to happen? Identity politics. What will be the identity politics in Singapore? I'm Chinese, you are Chinese, vote for me. Why you want to vote for that Malay or that Indian? So you have GRC systems. You have Maintenance of Racial Harmony Act. Why don't we look at what we have and objectively ask, is it better than what is there elsewhere?